What's up guys, and welcome back to another Wynand Crypto video. If you're an XRP owner, an XLM owner, or an HBAR owner, buckle up because we're diving in some massive news like the massive hack on XRP, which we will discuss later in this video. So make sure to watch this video until the end because what we're going to discuss will blow your mind. The markets today are pumping big time. Circle's dropping a bombshell with the new payments network. So first things first, the vibe in the crypto space right now is amazing. And Bitcoin is moving big time. The whole market is up over 4% with Bitcoin trading now at $96,500. And yesterday's ETF inflows were just amazing, taking in a whopping $531 million in inflows. The biggest 3-month jump ever. That's heavy money taking the dip, folks. And I'm here to tell you, we're heading off to some great new highs. So if you're on the ride, smash that like button now. Let's kick this party off in a big way. Let's start with the market because boy, it's wild out there. Bitcoin is looking pretty at $96,500 and the whole crypto world's on this train. Gold, yes, gold hit a record high yesterday at more than $3,498. It's fallen back to around $3,400 now, but that's still gigantic. And why should this bother you? Because when gold is pumping, that means people are looking for a safe haven and crypto's getting into that too. Meanwhile, in Japan, they're hiring members for their tariff task force. They're okay with bargaining chips, but rice imports? No chance, not giving an inch. It's a crazy world out there and crypto's right in the middle of it. Enough of the macro news already, let's jump straight into the crypto ecosystem with Circle's new payments network. Circle, the people behind USDC, just evened the playing field with their new payments network, and I did read the white paper, 28 pages, fully digestible, and let me tell you guys, if you're in the XRP world, you will get it in a heartbeat. This is not a small tweak, it's an entirely different game. So what's the deal really? Circle's rolling out an open network, not a private lockdown system like we're used to. They're inviting everyone to the party, banks, payment companies like Ripple or Stellar, and on and off-ramp providers, third-party app builders, and even other stablecoin issuers. They're saying, hey, let's innovate together for your customers and ours. That's the vibe, and it's brilliant. Here's what it covers, so brace yourselves, because it's a lot. Institutional payments like think DeFi and Forex settlements, business payments like trade finance, payroll, supplier payments, you name it. Retail payments, so everyday stuff, including AI payments. Yes, AI agents paying on your behalf. How cool is that? Consumer payments like micropayments, cross-border remittances, the whole shebang, and liquidity services, making sure everything flows freely. Does it compete with RippleNet? Catch this. Could Ripple play ball with Circle? Or Ripple providing liquidity or DeFi solutions to banks? I mean, never say never, right? So what blew my mind is the overlap. Some of Circle's debut partners, such as Flutterwave, FOMOPay, and Unifric, are already working with RippleNet, and Unifric is a huge deal in Africa with RippleNet, and now they're here also. So heavy hitters such as Deutsche Bank, Santander, Societe Generale, who has a stablecoin in the XRP Ledger, and Standard Chartered, a Ripple friend. This is clearly a power play, and it's going to make Ripple's IPO price very enticing. So before they were simply drawing on treasury yields off stablecoins, so really a normal thing, but now they got themselves something huge and sustainable. I know some major influencers are downplaying this as a side hustle, going, oh, it's not really this Ripple thing, or going, I'm not reading the white paper and blowing it off. But here's something from Hugo Filion at Flair that ties into this and supports this whole story. So to enable a highly successful XRP DeFi ecosystem, you need a very liquid worldwide present stablecoin. RLUSD ain't there yet, so we're looking at USDC or Tether USDT, and with USDT 0 switching between layer 0 and many chains, this is going to get good, so keep this on your radar. Speaking of adoption, XRP has been picking up pace in recent times. As early as December 2024, over 75% of Japanese banks have detailed plans to roll out XRP for cross-border payments by 2025, a massive show of faith by a global financial behemoth. And last month, on April 24th, 2025, we saw CME Group, the world's largest derivatives exchange, revealed they're launching XRP futures on May 19, pending approval. This is a game changer for adoption institutions where large participants can exchange XRP in a regulated framework. So through these actions, the validity and market footprint of XRP are soon going to skyrocket. So XRP family, the future looks really bright, but with higher adoption comes bigger responsibility. So a stern security advisory for XRP users, there has been a high-level attack on certain iterations of the XRPL.js library has been discovered, which potentially allows for exposure of your private keys. So big thanks to Aikido Security for catching this. If you're using affected wallets, update immediately or switch to secure options like Zaman. So let's go deeper into the matter. There's a coordinated attack going on right now, and it's deploying a backdoor to steal private keys and loot cryptocurrency wallets. This is actually happening, you guys. This is not a joke. Major props to Aikido Security for keeping an eye on this. They're the true heroes. They've been searching through this malware all night and they're alerting the community now. So here's the scope of the problem. This attack uses a library that some wallet developers utilize on the XRP Ledger. If your wallet's built with this library, that backdoor will siphon your private keys and mail them straight to the attackers. And then, then they own your money, and that's the worst case scenario. So here's the evolving situation. The attack is going on at the moment, and we don't know yet just how much damage is being done. If you've built anything on the XRP Ledger, wallets, applications, whatever, please check your security. I'm going to add a link to Aikido Security's blog to the description. It's where the latest news is, and you should read it. So let me break it down for the new people in crypto. This is no ordinary phishing scam, it's a high-tech behind-your-back trickery. So let's take a step back. We've got a hot market, circles shaking things up, and the XRP Ledger hack. What's the larger picture? So let's hear it from the Aikido people themselves. This is the video you've all been waiting for. But before we watch it, if you enjoyed today's video, if you learned anything new, share this video, tap the like button so the algorithm can push this out to everyone who needs to see this, especially if you want to long or short XRP, go to Wynand Crypto, and on this video you're going to find a link to sign up to BTCC to be able to trade Bitcoin and XRP and other cryptocurrencies. And guys, with BTCC, and only my BTCC link, you can get a limited time $10,000 bonus on your first deposit. This is where I'm trading. This is where I can open all of my long positions and all of my trades. I think it's a fantastic place to be trading. So make sure to use my link down in the description below if you want to sign up and start trading XRP. I would be really thankful if you guys support my small channel with just moving your funds from your old trading platform to BTCC and then just racking in that huge bonus. It helps you and me. And if you own XRP, do your part, show your support. I love you all, and I will see you very soon. Until the next time, Wynand Crypto out.
So we've just discovered a pretty significant attack, supply chain attack in the cryptocurrency space. And that is that the official process, which is the official Ripple SDK, has been compromised in a really nasty supply chain attack. In this video, we're going to break down exactly what's happened and look at some of the technical details and some of the malware that's actually been written for this. Now, I apologize if I look like I've been up all night. It's currently 7 a.m. and I have been up all night looking at this, but we're going to get through it. In the official XRPL, which is the Ripple Ledger developer SDK, we first noticed that there was some very suspicious activity on here. So we'll notice that about 14 hours ago, a bunch of new versions were included, and we have an automatic system called Intel. Intel uses AI and LLMs to kind of identify malware and interesting patterns, and it identified us to this. When we actually had a look, we realized that it was compromised. So if we go into the code here and we go to this file index.ts, what's actually happened is there's a new function being added. This is called check validity of seed. And then immediately this here is what's kind of like flagged up. It's dodgy. Is that this is a very random domain that's been added in here, and it's posting information to it. So essentially this is a C2 server, command and control server from an attacker, and they've managed to compromise this, and this function actually steals private keys from your crypto wallets. So they're trying to access your private keys to be able to steal, basically steal your cryptocurrency, set it to themselves, and they're doing that via the C2 server. So at first, we immediately knew something dodgy was going on when we saw this. We had to dig a little bit deeper to kind of find out exactly what was happening. So if we go back into the code here in our wallet folder, and in our kind of key index kind of wallet here, we'll see a function. Here we are, this constructor function here. We'll see that the check validity seed function is being called and the private key is being sent. So this is stealing the private key and sending it to the attacker via this function. Now it is kind of interesting. This function, this malicious function, is being called throughout this file here 8 times. Kind of pointless, to be honest, because once this constructor function is called, then that's going to be kind of almost game over and it's going to get your private key. So that's exactly what's happening. Now, the first question you're going to know is this going to affect me? How does it affect me? Well, there's some good news here. This happened only a few hours ago, and we've already alerted the team to it from Ripple, and we've already made public announcements. So in order for this to happen, it doesn't affect every version. It's just the latest few versions. So hopefully not all systems, or hopefully majority of systems, aren't using the malicious version of this yet. That being said, this is a very popular package. It has 140,000 weekly downloads. So it's very likely that actually some people have just automatically upgraded to the latest package when they've built their latest version, and they're going to be using the malicious version. So it is important that we be aware of that. However, don't panic just yet, because the likelihood is that you will be safe, but this could have been absolutely catastrophic for the crypto community, and billions of dollars could have been lost. Now, exactly who's affected and how they're affected, unfortunately, we don't have that information right. We do know that this is making the rounds around social media, around on the news, the channels as well. So there's going to be a lot of announcement from organizations. What I will say is, for your specific scenario, if you're worried about being affected, is to ask your currency exchange, ask your wallet provider, let them give you an update around that. They will be much better qualified to understand if you're going to be affected or not. The chances are that you won't be affected because they won't have upgraded to this latest version. That's the kind of silver lining. However, it doesn't mean that they haven't. Doesn't mean you're out of the woods, but just don't panic yet. The next thing is you want to know how this happened. There were some comments on Twitter that I saw people asking me why would a malicious pull request be accepted? And who would have accepted that? So actually what happened was a developer's account was compromised, and most likely their developer NPM credentials, publishing credentials, were compromised. So the GitHub repository and the GitHub account has remained kind of unaffected. And there is no malicious version of this in the GitHub repository. If we go to the GitHub repository, which we can click here, we'll see in the commits that the last commit was the last commit before one that was made 7 minutes ago was yesterday. So it doesn't correspond. So what we know is that the attacker bypassed this and was able to upload it directly to the NPM account. They did this using a compromised developer. We know the developer that was compromised. They have been working for Ripple since 2021. We know who they are. But developers' accounts are a big target for attackers. So that's what's happened here. And this is good news. I've just seen this come through as I'm recording the video, that they've bumped to the non-compromised version. So hopefully from now on, things should be good. Doesn't mean that you're completely safe. You need to wait for those announcements to come out. One thing that is a little bit concerning to me, though, is that the Ripple team have been great in dealing with this, and they've been very responsive to us, particularly seeing it was 2 in the morning that we discovered this. However, it is a very popular project, and there is a way to avoid this, and that's by using signatures and when you publish your package. So essentially, if you go through the standard CI/CD pipeline, you'll get a signature of what your kind of compiled package looks like. And before anything is uploaded to NPM or published on NPM, it needs to match the signature of that. Clearly, that's not in place because the signatures would not have matched in this case, because only the compromised version existed on NPM. So that's a little bit concerning. And if you're wanting to know, what can you do to prevent this in your package? That's one thing that you absolutely should do, is sign your package releases to make sure that you have to go through the CI/CD pipeline. And if the NPM accounts get compromised, then multiple accounts have to be compromised for that to happen. So that's just one little tidbit there. And the other thing that's good is I've just refreshed the page, and I've seen here that this package has been deprecated, and there's a notice saying that it's been compromised. So it's good. We're all working towards the right kind of things at the moment. So if you want to know kind of how we discovered this, is I mentioned at the start we have something called Aikido Intel. You can actually see that here. It's the public threat feed. And essentially, we're constantly scanning for malware and also vulnerabilities that don't have CVEs against them, and we're publishing that in a public feed. So if I click here on malware, then what you'll see is this is all the malware that we're discovering. And if we scroll down here, this is the file. So we discovered this only a few hours ago. Since then, you can see that we've already discovered a bunch more malware. Probably not quite as significant, but I haven't slept yet, so I'm gonna wait until I have a nap before I look into those. So there we have it. That's all I have for you today. Now, if you want to find more information and you just happen to be going to San Francisco for the RSA conference on May 1st at 8:30 a.m., if you look in the program, I'll be speaking about malware and discovering vulnerabilities with LLMs, and I'll be able to talk about this exact scenario and how we discovered it. So if you want to find out more, then come to see that session in the RSA conference in San Francisco, May 1st, 8:30. And until then, well, I hope you all stay safe out there. If you have any questions, then feel free to reach out in the comments. I'll do my best to answer.